Some asynchronous libraries, like the HttpClient with its getAsync and all the other asynchronous methods on that, will handle the cancellation without you having to do much more than simply passing the cancellation token. Depending on which library you use, the result of canceling an operation may differ. Sometimes it might return partial data, and sometimes it throws an exception to allow you to know that the task has been cancelled. There's a file in the solution called stock_service. This class exposes a method called getStockPrices. This one takes two parameters. The first one is the stock identifier. The second one is the cancellation token. Internally, this method uses the HttpClient, like we've seen previously. This performs a request to fetch the stock prices from the API, then returns the deserialized stock prices back to the caller as a list. You can see that it's using getAsync. This gets the cancellation token passed to it. This call is awaited, and if the application triggers a cancellation by requesting the cancellation token source to cancel, this will immediately stop the web request and throw a task cancel exception. Let's go ahead and change our code to use the stock service, instead of loading all the data from disk. We don't have to do too many changes to the application to make this work. We can remove the call to search for stocks, as well as its continuations that we introduced previously. Then replace this with using the stock service. We can then call getStockPrices4, together with the stock identifier, as well as the cancellation token. This time, we're going to use the async and await keywords again. In the continuation, we can now make sure that we update the UI accordingly. Using the async and await keywords again is in preparation for what's going to come in the next module. If a cancellation is now requested in the application, the call to our search for stocks method will throw an exception. The await keyword will identify this. Therefore, we need to make sure that this is properly handled in our try and catch blocks. Like earlier, we'll make sure that a note is added to the application when there's an exception. At the end of the method, we need to make sure that we reset the UI as well as the cancellation token source. Let's run the application and make sure that we didn't break anything. We can still search for stocks, and we can cancel the operation. Without having to handle the cancellation ourselves, we've now seen how this is handled with the HttpClient. This will make it easy for us to introduce cancellations when we consume web resources. We saw that it's easy for us to introduce the cancellation token no matter if you're using task.run when creating your own asynchronous methods or when using things like the HttpClient.